Whether in life or building, take the time to plan. Put it on paper. Plan for the future. Plan for tomorrow. Literally. You should know today, before this day's over, what you plan to do tomorrow. Make a list. It seldom plays out as you had planned, but you have something to shoot for and to help be efficient with the time you do have. Okay, fellas, glad to be back with you. My camera's not working, so you won't be able to see me today. But I'll be talking to you. Today we're going to need the same things we needed last week. We're going to continue with our planning. This will be part 2. You're going to need a calculator, maybe a couple sheets of paper. I got a worksheet I sent in. Somebody should have made copies, hopefully, and you'll have that. You need a pencil. Is Etheridge still there? Etheridge, you pressing the button today? He's a good button presser because he used to push my buttons pretty regular. He can pause it, rewind it, whatever you need to do during the course of this. All right, we want to recap real quick, and then we're going to preview. Last session, we discussed our materials, landscape timbers, rebar. We talked about the plans and drawings. We talked a little bit about cut sheet and material list, but we're going to review some of the objectives. We covered most of these objectives up here. Let me get my laser ready. We covered landscape timbers, what type of joints, rebar sizes. We'll work a little bit more with the plans and drawings. We're going to create a cut sheet, create a material list, and calculate costs. So we'll do a little more today. A lot of this is concerning math. We got our project going. We, got some things we're relating to, but it's generally talking about being able to use math and math skills and some different level thinking skills to accomplish things. Today we're going to utilize some plans and drawings. We're going to make a cut sheet, make a material list, calculate the cost. And then we're going to take a minute for math in a couple of areas. We're going to talk about converting fraction to decimals and converting inches to feet. We got a lot to cover, but we're going to move pretty quick. All right, we're going to get right into the lesson. We're going to talk about making our cut sheet, and we use our plans to make our cut sheet. You can look at the different sizes, different shapes, and then we start taking those pieces from the plans and inserting them to get our sizes we have to cut. The cut sheet will look something like this. You can make it up different ways we talked about on the last lesson. But if you see, let me get my pointer. All right, my laser pointer. All right, here we have all our different pieces for our project. I found a little bird out. I thought it'd be something simple to use. But it says we need 1x6s. When you get ready to go to the supply house and buy it, you'll buy some 1x6 cedar. On your cut sheet, when you get ready to cut, you put the actual size, like 3/4 by 5.5 by 9.25 to 10.25. That's what these sides are. You see 5.5 inches wide and 9.25 inches on the short side. 10 1/4 on the long side. We're just going to cut them 10 1/4 long. But let's see. You'll see you got that 1x6. That's what you'll be getting. That's what you purchase. But the actual size will be 3/4 by 5. On the last lesson, we talked about the size of the landscape timbers, and the nominal size of this, would be 1x6 cedar. But actual size, again, I'll give you a visual effect, would be 3/4 high and 5.5 long. Why is that? What the main reason when they cut lumber at the sawmill, they cut it rough cut. It's cut a little big. It's around 1 inch by 6 inches in the case of a 1x6. But then they have to let it cure out because it's got a lot of moisture in it. So they a lot of times stack it on the lumber yard or put it in a kiln, whatever. But they'll dry it out, make sure it's shrunk as much as it's gonna shrink, and then they'll plane it down to the actual sizes. That way they'll be true, 3/4 by 5.5. If they were to cut it 3/4 by 5.5 too early before the moisture's out, you have all different types of sizes because they shrink differently, and the wood wouldn't be as true. All right, making the cut sheet, you need to study your drawings and complete the list. What we want to do here is get you to look at the drawing, and we already filled out this part. It's showing the sides. We need 2 sides, 1x6s, and they'll be cut 3 1/4 by 5.5 by 9 1/4 to 10 1/2. And we're going to need a right and a left side. You have to think about that a lot of times with cabinet. Now in this case, if it's just going to be if the wood is the same size on both sides, you can cut 2 exactly alike. But in some things like a cabinet, even though they might be the same size, you got a finished side, so you'd have to cut in a right and the left side. You'd have to think about that. All right, let's pause the video just for a second, just to give you enough time to go ahead and fill these out, and then we'll go right back into our lesson. Okay, we got it going again. Let's see. This is what you came up with, this information here. Then we finish with the cut sheet for 1. So we're going to keep going and fill it out for 4. And when I say fill it out for 4, it's because here our project, we got 4 projects we got to build. So we fill it out for 1, this information here. And what we want to do is fill this in for 4. So what do we have to do? Pretty simple. Just take the information at the top, multiply each one by 4. So let's pause just a second and jot down those answers. All right, now that we finished, this should be what you got. Double check yours, see if they're the same as mine. I know I'm not wrong. If you got it, this completes the cut sheet for 4. Now we're going to go on to them. All right, so let's make a material list. We're going to make it from the cut sheet. Now we need to add up all the links. All these links that we have here, we got to add them all up so we know how much lumber we got to get. Now, first thing you got to do is multiply the quantities. So that's these amounts by the length of each side. So like right here, we looked at these sides. We're going to cut these 10 1/4 because that's the longest part. So we would just go 8 times 10 1/4, right? and that would tell us how much lumber we need for this. And then we would do that for all the rest of them and add it together. All right, we need the quantities and the lengths. So the first thing we do is multiply 8 times 10 and a quarter. So what is that? 8 times 10 and a quarter. Well, if we're doing fractions, first thing you got to do is change it to an improper fraction. Love it. All right, so you take 8, and that would be 8 over 1, right? You're going to multiply that. Convert 10 and a quarter. So you have to take the 4, multiply it by 10, then add 1. And you end up with 41 over 4, right? All right, that equals 328 over 4. All right, now we got to simplify it. It's 328 divided by 4 is 82. That was simple enough? I don't think so. I think it's the reason they call it improper fraction. It's improper to do it this way. All right, so we need to add up all these lengths, multiplying, like we said, the quantities times lengths. I would say, instead of doing it the improper way, let's just convert the fraction to decimals. So here, we just need to convert 1/4, 1/4 to a decimal. All right, 1/4 equals 1 divided by 4. Remember, when you convert a fraction to a decimal, this line is like divided by. So it'll be 1 divided by 4. 1 divided by 4, right? That's simple enough. And that equals 0.25. So 8 times 0.25 equals 82. Is that a lot easier than improper fractioning? All right, let's take a minute for math. We're going to make sure we cover this pretty good so you don't forget it. A fraction, to convert it to a decimal, the fraction is this number. Like I said, this is divided by this, and that equals your decimal. So we had a fraction of 1/2. What does that equal? Fraction convert to a decimal. 1/2 equals 0.5. All right. 3/4 equals 0.75. So 1 divided by 2, 0.5. 3 divided by 4, 0.75. Tell me that ain't it. All right, now what I want you to do is take these few numbers here, pause the video for just a second, and come up with the answers for me. All right, so you got these done? Let's check them. All right, so 1 divided by 4 is 0.25, right? Pretty simple. If you ever have a problem with like converting fractions to decimals, converting whatever, if you can't remember what the formula is, take something you know, like 1/2. Okay, if I divide 1 divided by 2, I know what the answer is. It's 0.5. So if I can go through the process and I get the right answer, then I know, okay, that's the right way. And you can do that a lot of times and figure out, if you can't remember what the right way to do it is, take something real simple that you already know the answer to run it through the process and verify, if you got it. All right, 3 divided by 8, 0.375. 5 divided by 8, 0.625. All right, now here we got a whole number. You don't even have to deal with it. If you was trying to use fraction, you have to convert that to a fraction, improper fraction, and deal with it and then simplify it. This way you just leave the whole number alone. 3 divided by 4 is 75, so 4.75. Same thing here. 11 9/16. 9 divided by 16 is 0.5625. We're still moving right along here. All right, now let's convert these fractions to decimals. Multiply by the quantity. We just reinforced what we needed to know about changing the fraction to decimals, and now we're about to use it. Okay, so 8 times 10.75 is 82. That's this right here. 8 times 10.25 is 82. All right, I want you to pause and fill out the rest of these. 4 times 9 1/4, 4 times 7 1/2. List it down through here. When you get it listed, then total up these links and see that'll be a whole list, a total of everything that we're gonna need. All right, we got that done. Let's see what answers are. Second row, 4 times 9.25 is 37 inches. 30 inches, 60 inches, 16 inches, for a total of, what'd you get? Nah, that's wrong. Okay, 225. We need 225 inches, a 1x6 seater. Convert inches to feet. How much lumber do we need to buy? All right, we have a total of 225 1x6s we know we need. Well, if you go to Home Depot doesn't carry 225-inch boards. They got 8-foot boards, not 225. So we got to convert this. All right, we know we got 225 inches total of 1x6s. So we got inches, 225 inches. That's what we got. All right, but we're ordering in feet. The board's are 8 feet. So when we're calculating distances, lengths, whatever, if it's area, volume, whatever it is, you got to have units of measure that are the same. They got to be common units of measure. All right, so we need to, in this situation, we need to convert inches into feet so that the units of measure will be the same. We want everything to be feet in this situation so that we have common units of measure. So how many feet is 225 inches? All right, well, there are 12 inches in a foot. When you want to convert inches into feet, whatever your amount is, in this case we got 225 inches here, you just divide by 12 because there's 12 inches in every foot. So if we divide these inches by 12, we're going to come up with how many feet we got. All right, what is this symbol? You ever seen this? I mean, like Superman had an S on his chest. This symbol represents an ability. Every superhero, everybody's got special abilities. This symbol represents the ability to convert stuff. You can convert anything. All right, here's Tony Stark. He had some special abilities, but he had to learn how to use them. And he didn't stop. He kept using it because he knew it was going to be something. All right, so this symbol we use for portions and percent. Remember this. Line equals or compares to this line. What does that mean? What do we do with this? We have to plug numbers here, here, and then compare here and here. And it's like magic. So we take any situation, whatever information you got that you know, you plug it in down here. You just have to get used to putting it in the right place. All right, here we got 1 pound of barbecue. So let's put that here. 1 pound of barbecue. It takes 1 pound of barbecue to make 3 sandwiches. How many sandwiches can you get with 3 pounds of barbecue? All right, we got 3 sandwiches. That's some information we know. We know we got 1 pound of barbecue. We know we got 3 sandwiches. That's what it'll make. So we're going to plug 3 sandwiches in here. And like we just said on the last slide, you got to keep common units of measure. Well, here, what are the units of measure? Here, a pound of barbecue. Here, sandwiches. Those are the units we're measuring by. What else do we know? We know we got how many sandwiches for 3 pounds of barbecue. So we got 3 pounds of barbecue, and we plug it in over here because these are common. So we know 1 pound of barbecue makes 3 sandwiches. 3 pounds of barbecue will make how many? You just cross multiply. 3 pounds times 3 equals what? 9. Divide by 1. And that gives you your answer. 9 sandwiches. Now that's pretty simple, but it works with complex problems too. That's what makes it so great. You take any problem, no matter how complex it is, if you got enough information and you learn how to plug it in the right place with your common units of measure, you can figure anything out. All right, here we're going to use basically the same units of measure, just a little different. All right, it took 2 pounds of barbecue to get 6 sandwiches. But you having a family reunion, and you know you need 75 75 sandwiches. So how many pounds of barbecue are you going to need? Well, seems like that would be a big math problem, whatever. No. 2 pounds of barbecue. Let's plug it in. All right, what else we got? 6 sandwiches. We'll put that over here. So now we got pounds of barbecue. We got sandwiches. What's the other information? All right, we need 75 sandwiches. So where's that going to go? It'll go over here with the sandwiches, right? Okay, problem's almost solved. 75 times 2 divided by 6. You need 25 pounds of barbecue. That ain't too hard. It's so easy. I can do it. All right, you can use it in your situation here. Now we know 12 inches are in a foot, so you just, like we said earlier with the inches, you just take the inches, divide by 12, and you get the amount. But I just wanted you to see how easy using this process is. All right, we know we got 12 inches in 1 foot. We got 108 inches. So 108 inches, 108 times 1 divided by 12, 9 feet. All right. In our situation, we got 225 inches. So if we got 225 inches, we know there's 12 inches in 1 foot, and we got 225. You could do it this way: 225 times 1 divided by 12 equals 18.75 feet. That's easy. It's so easy because in this situation, you know, 12 inches is 1 foot. But what if you had more complex, like we had some situation where this number was different, and like this number was 4. You couldn't do it in your head, then it'd be a little more complex. So you can use this proportion process, and it's so easy to do. All right, so now we know we got 18.75 feet of cedar. So we need to fill out our material list. We got a total of 18.75 feet. All right, each board here is 8 feet. Home Depot selling 8-foot boards. All right, so all we got to do is take our total, divide by 8, because that's how long the boards are, and we know we get here 2.344 boards. All right, well, we can't buy 2.344 boards, can we? So what do we need to do? We got to get 3 boards. And that part of the material list is done. All right, so we're going over our material list before we go to the supply house. Just trying to think of anything we need. So, all right, how about screws? We need to get some screws, don't we? So how many screws we need? I was looking, probably about 15 per box. So I think we just need to get one 1-pound box, 1.5 inch torque screws. So our material list is complete. Okay, let's review the cut sheet versus the material list. What's the difference? The cut sheet has all the individual sizes of every piece that'll be cut. If you had somebody working with you that, familiar with cutting, you could just hand this cut sheet to them and they could make all your cuts for you. A material list is all of the pieces on the cut sheet added up in the format that the supply house will have the material. It'll be filled out in such a way it's complete with the links that the supply house has available you could take this material list, you could give it to a store employee, or you could go online, pick it out, and they'll have it ready for you when you get there. All right, so now what we're going to do, we're going to recap and make our own cut sheet and our own material list real quick. Here you got a drawing of a raised garden bed. It gives you the sizes. We talked about the blueprints, the plans. You can see different drawings, it's got information on it. So you take that information and make your own cut sheet. You just study what you got, think of what you need. Okay, I look here and I see I'm gonna need some 8-foot landscape timbers. Boom, right here. How many pieces do we need? All right, well, what we want to do first, let's just do one layer. You want to keep things simple, do it in steps. So we're going to do one layer. How many 8-foot pieces? 2. All right, how many 4-foot pieces? All right, then when we're done with that, then we'll multiply it by 3 because that's how many layers we have here. So you would just take, the number of pieces you have on your first layer, multiply times 3, and it will tell you how many 8-foot boards you need. Here, you do the same. How many 4-foot pieces you need for one layer, multiply it by 3, and it'll give you how many 4-foot pieces you need. Same thing with the rebar. How many pieces and the length of each piece. Now, let's pause the video and take a piece of paper and just jot this information down, and we'll fill it in a second. Okay, hopefully everybody's through. Everybody got their information pointed in. Let me get my pointer away. All right, if we look here, how many pieces do we need 8 feet? 2. Is that what you got? How many pieces do we need? 4 feet. Just for one layer. 2, right? All right, now let's go 3. Let me get my laser again. All right, so we got 3 layers. So we're going to multiply what we got here by 3. And that'll be 6, right? So we're going to need 6 8-foot pieces. And we're going to need 4 4-foot pieces. All right, then look at the rebar. How many pieces of rebar we're going to need? All right, we said 6, right? We look here, we'll see 6 pieces. So we're going to need 6 pieces total, and the length will be what? 12 inches plus 4. So we need 6 pieces, 16 inches long. And that's our cut sheet, or the material we need. Our cut sheet. This would be like a cut sheet. I mean, you could use this, but it, excuse me, it's a little more organized if you do something like this. If you got a larger project, you're gonna need something that you can keep it a little more organized with. All right, so you got landscape timbers, 8 feet. So we're just plugging in this information now that we got. We'll put that on here so we got us a cut sheet. All right, we needed 6 pieces of landscape timbers, 8 feet. All right, we needed what? All right, be ready to pause the video in just a second. We'll go. All right, let's review what you got for your material list. All right, we know we need landscape timbers, We know what size they're going to be, 8 feet. How many do we need? Well, let's add together our cut sheet. 8 feet on the cut sheet, we have 6 of them. So you can do it like this: 6 times 8. And here you got landscape timbers, 4 feet. We need 6 of those. So this right here is 6 times 8 plus 6 times 4. That would include all the landscape timbers, right? Then we add those up. 6 times 8, 48. 6 times 4, 24. Add those. We need 72 feet. All right, so how many boards? 8 foot. We got a total of 72 feet. We divide it by 8 feet, and we know we need 9 boards. So we put 9. So this is our material list. We took all the information, different pieces, come up with a total, and we need 9 boards. All right, for our rebar, it comes in 10 feet pieces. Well, we got 6 16-inch pieces. All right, 6 times 16 is 96. So we got 96 inches here. All right, what did we say earlier about our units of measure? We always have to have common units of measure. We're going to buy our rebar in feet, 10 foot. When we had 96 inches, so we want to convert 96 to 12. If it's 12 inches in a foot, remember you always take it inches, divide it by 12, and it gives you your feet. So we come up with a total of 8 feet. Well, they sell it 10 foot, so how many will we need? Just one. The material is here. All right, the next thing we want to do, be ready to pause the video, is calculate our cost. We just want to fill in the cost of each item and total it up. So if one landscape timber is what? How much is it? $3.57. $3.57. Plug that in here. One stick of rebar, $6.75. So you would take that information put here, multiply whatever the cost of each, multiply it by the quantity, and that gives you the total cost of that item. So fill that in, add that together, and that'll be your subtotal. Add those two items together, subtotal. Then you have to calculate your tax. What is that going to be? The easiest way to do that is turn 8% into a decimal, which is what? 0.08. So you take your subtotal, multiply 0.08. That'll give you your tax. Add them together, and you got your total. Okay? Okay, so if you got your material list filled out, let's review it real quick. We had 9 landscape timbers, 8 feet. Each one was $3.57. So we'll put $3.57 here. We'll multiply that by the quantity. We got $32.13. For our rebar, each piece was $6.75. So we'll plug that under the cost for each. We had one stick, so that'll be 1 times $6.75. That's $6.75. Total those two items in the cost total, our subtotal will be $38.88. Then we calculated our tax, should be $3.11. And if we add those two items together, subtotal and the tax, we got $41.99. All right, here our lesson's done. We're gonna reinforce what we got with a little question answer period. I had some copies made. It's 2 pages. Hope you have those pages with you, assignment sheet pages that you can fill in. It should have this information on it. One page would look, it'd have all this information. Some questions for you to answer. Simple, just reinforcement. It'll be what we call a formative assessment to see what you got out of our lesson. All right, the second page would look like this. All right, and what this is for is here you got the sizes of beds and how many you have to build. We got a scenario that you have your construction business. Maybe you got some orders from some people that do landscaping, something like that. And you got orders for raised garden beds you got to build. Well, this is the order you got. You got different sizes, and you got quantities. So you would take this size and put it right up here. Size of the bed. You would do that for each one. The second size, put it here. Third size, and so forth. One material list, one cut sheet for each size. In this case, and here, you got more than one. So you would put here where it says how many this size, just put 2. Pretty simple. All right, you got the information you need to fill this out. Make sure you write your name on them, turn them in. And one thing you want to make sure before we turn this slide is write down the cost and the size of each item so you'll remember how to plug it in the cost. Landscape timbers, 8 foot, $3.57. Rebar, 10 foot, $6.75. Just jot this down somewhere where you can remember that when you get ready to fill all this in. Okay? All right. Next time, wear your work clothes. So we about to start building some raised garden beds. All right. We'll see you next time, boys.